Welcome to the Retail Tech Podcast, where we talk about the full spectrum of technologies and implementation used in omni-channel and online retail. Make sure to subscribe to our newsletter at retailtechpodcast.com, and we always look forward to your feedback. I'm speaking with Haitham Ghadiry and Yegor Kuznetsov from HighJump today. Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Hello. Thank you for having us today.
Great. So what is HighJump?
HighJump is a global provider of supply chain solutions. We're one of the leading providers worldwide. Our technology spans from automating all the different aspects of supply chain, from warehouse management for enterprise and tier one retailers and wholesalers to mid-market, as well as a transportation management system, automation technology for the 3PL, third-party logistic companies. And another big component of our offering is a global commerce network that basically helps retailers connect and collaborate with their suppliers network, which results.
This meeting is being recorded.
Processing and accelerated fulfillment, basically all the aspects that lead up to omni-channel retailing. And that commerce component or commerce network is branded under HighJump as True Commerce.
Okay, so yeah, just taking a look at the website, I saw there are several pieces, these are acquired companies by HighJump. Can you tell me what the different, I guess, business units are under HighJump?
So HighJump is structured into two primary divisions: the supply chain group, which includes the warehouse management applications, the transportation management, and the 3PL warehouse automation as well. And then the other division is for the network business, which is the True Commerce. Like I said, our run rate is about $180 million annually. True Commerce represents close to half of that, about $70 to $75 million. We have a global reach as well. So we have offices in the UK, in Shanghai, in Copenhagen, about maybe 5 or 6 offices in North America, but our operation is globally, and our customers are spanned in about 77 countries.
Okay, so what is actually the type of or the segment of market that True Commerce focuses on?
Pretty much any supplier that has the need or is selling their products to retailers, and any retailer that is interested in optimizing their omni-channel or executing on their omni-channel initiatives by connecting their supplier network and increase visibility and collaboration as well.
Okay, so is it B2B and B2C?
Probably I would say 90% of our business is B2B. We have an e-commerce component of our commerce network that allows retailers to work directly with consumers and take orders, and also allows our suppliers to enable that for companies who are not EDI compliant to be able to place B2B orders. So our commerce network includes technologies like EDI, e-commerce, e-invoicing, order verification, vendor scorecards, and obviously all the compliance aspects from labeling, packing slips that are required to establish this kind of supply chain collaboration and visibility.
Okay, so just talking a little bit more about EDI, and I mean, many years ago, I worked for a company called Sterling Commerce, which was in the EDI business, and that to me it's mostly like batch processing of orders. Now with the new live web technologies, basically things are done on an on-demand basis. So how how does the actual EDI part of the business work right now for for TrueCommerce? Is it live on demand, or is it still batch processed, or both?
It's actually in real time what we have here. So and the technology has transformed over the last few years. That is why, Darius, we do not refer to our network as an EDI network. We refer to it as an e-commerce network. Because exchange of documents between suppliers and retailers is no longer just limited to EDI, X12, or EDIFACT. We call it any-to-any network. We can take XML files, we can take CSV files, different file types. These are the documents that are required in order for a retailer to gain visibility across their supply chain. For example, we have one of our customers working with in sports memorabilia. They transmit their inventory levels maybe up to 70 or 80 times a day. That's because retailers and e-tailers want to reflect that on their website. As in the past, and I'm sure you're very familiar with that, and remains one of the biggest challenges for retailers are stockouts.
Right.
We used to say stockouts cause walkouts, right?
Yes.
I think that also expands to e-tailers, to e-commerce. In the past, it used to be, a product will ship in 4 days or 5 days or 3 days. Cross out this will ship. It now says can be delivered. With Amazon Prime and Amazon, same day shipping. We're here in the metropolitan area in DC, and Amazon offered this service for a variety of products where you can order it and they can ship it to you within a few hours. We started to see Amazon trucks here. So what used to be nice to have, the visibility across your supply chain, ability to ship the product or drop ship the products. In the past, it might have been acceptable to be something or a process that can take days. Consumers maybe were a little bit patient. But we are living in a now economy. Consumers want it now. They're impatient. They're expecting when they place an order that it will be delivered on the time promised. And as you know, drop shipping has grown in the industry significantly. So that means that retailers and e-tailers now have to have high dependency on the efficiency of their suppliers to be able to fulfill the consumer's demand. And I sometimes use an example of consumers' impatience and the need for now is the new credit card chip technology, which takes about 10 seconds more than the swipe. People are frustrated with that extra 10 seconds. So in order for retailers to be able to meet consumer demands, avoid these stockouts, whether they're online or in their physical store, that supply chain collaboration, visibility, integration is no longer a nice to have. It's a must have in order for you to survive in this now economy that we refer to.
Right. Great.
And that's where we really play. So our commerce network connects retailers. So we would work with a retailer, for example, to onboard maybe 300, 400 or 500 of their suppliers. Some of them could be in the thousands. Standardize the document flow process from purchase order transmission, confirmation. We will tag basically the expected ship date. If they are delayed, we'll be able to send alerts to the supplier, alerts to the retailer. So we can catch problems ahead of time. And through our managed service desk, we take care of all the plumbing. They can take care of their business, collaborate through our network. And that's not only limited to some of these documents, the EDI documents, like I said, it's any-to-any network. It could be an XML file. It could be inventory feed. It could be even payment remittance. So we play in the center between suppliers and retailers through that managed service approach that we have.
Okay. So, right. So the question I had about the EDI part is, it sounds like you're also, so do you also have APIs? Do you use APIs?
We do have Yeah, we connect to our integration partner through APIs. It has limited exposure, so selectively we would expose our APIs, such as for labeling, for example. If a third-party product or a 3PL would like to, utilize their scan and pack technology to print labels directly from our cloud, we would enable that. So when needed, we obviously enable our open our APIs for that level of integration.
Okay.
In addition to that, we integrate with over 15 or 18 ERP packages through APIs and web services. So our integration with NetSuite, it's a cloud-to-cloud integration, obviously leveraging their web services and APIs. And the same will go across all Sage products, Microsoft Dynamics, QuickBooks, and many other packages.
Okay, so that's great, because that's really where, as you mentioned, the now commerce really becomes real when you're using API and you're just making a call when the information is needed. So okay, now as far as the network, the True Commerce Network, how does that actually work? I see a list of Amazon, Home Depot, Commerce Hub, Walmart, Target. How does it actually work for a retailer to become a part of your network?
So basically, on the supplier side, we are one of the top providers for EDI compliance and integrations in the marketplace. So the list of trading partners that you see on the website today, which is over maybe 5,500 in North America and another 5,000 in Europe, we have ready EDI maps for those retailers, and we have a relationship with their EDI desks in the event they update a map or modify a map or change their connection from maybe Event to AS2. Our trading partner desk basically works on that and push it to all our customers using that particular or working with that particular retailer. And we have, hundreds, if not thousands, with the top ones that you probably mentioned. So that is on the supplier side. When a large retailer, if they're doing EDI in-house, kind of doing it on your own, onboard a new supplier or new supplier group, initiate an onboarding campaign, many of them would have True Commerce and a potential vendor list for EDI. We get inquiries from those suppliers, and we basically add them to our network to be ready for trading with them. We can get them up to speed and ready to receive transactions within days because we already have maps updated, and it's cloud-based technology. So that's one side of our network. The other side of our network is when we work directly with retailers who may not have EDI, like I would say emerging retailers, those who are moving from, tier 3 to tier 2 or some tier 1 as well, don't have EDI infrastructure, now started expanded, beyond, maybe, 20, 30 or 40 stores or 100 stores. Now they want to start implementing this type of supplier collaboration and visibility. We would go and work with that retailer, start with a workshop, understand their needs, understand their challenges, and we start writing and building for them those EDI maps. And like I said, it's not just EDI map, it could be XML files because they are exchanging data with their 3PL, et cetera. And then we have a managed service desk, basically, that will work with the retailer to start the community outreach. We start reaching out to their supplier community and work with them through the testing process, training process, so they can access the portal and start receiving purchase orders from that particular retailer. And then thereafter, that help desk will work with the retailer, not just to onboard them, but also to manage any flagged documents. Like I said, if you, for example, receive an invoice that with a quantity that mismatches the purchase order, our help desk will see that flagged. We can actually reach out to the supplier directly to fix it. or communicate that with the retailers. We're also able to provide the retailer with a vendor scorecard based on their activities in the portal. And that is really critical because when you have a vendor meeting, you can talk to them about how inefficiencies can create and cause loss in revenue. Like I said, stockouts and delayed shipments will cause canceled orders. They range in the industry between 4 to 8%, and that translates into billions of dollars. In a heavy season or a holiday season, they can prioritize the vendors with a high scorecard to be the primary for that particular season. And that allows them to fulfill the orders faster and be able to capture as many orders as they can online. So we work on both sides. We can help retailers with their onboarding programs and enablement and through managed service approach, and we can also work with the supplier side. What's unique about us too is that we not only try to make the supplier compliant with the requirements, but because of the breadth of our integration with ERP and accounting systems, we're able to bring that level of efficiency to the supplier too. And that is going back to the now economy that we're talking about. Because if you send a dropship order to a supplier that has to print it out and manually enter it in their accounting or ERP system and then later on print a packing list, you're losing precious hours. And now we're not talking hours anymore. We're talking minutes when you're talking about same-day delivery or overnight delivery or even two-day delivery. These orders need to be transmitted from the retailer to the supplier in the ERP system, packing slip, communication with the carrier, whether it's FedEx or UPS, and out of the dock in a matter of hours. You do that, you gain competitive advantage in the marketplace.
That's how Amazon works, basically. I mean, everybody's competing with Amazon ultimately. So I don't think Amazon does many things manually anymore. It's all automated.
Oh, no, I mean, we have hundreds of our customers working with Amazon Central and Amazon Seller. So that's the level of automation that we're able to do. So that gives them actually competitive advantage against other suppliers working with Amazon because of their efficiency. They are able to send Amazon inventory feeds, which we refer to it as maybe the 846 document, multiple times a day through our network accurately, if we're able to pull that file through our scheduling system. When you talk about APIs and automation, if they have a script that will send that file, we'll be able to pull it on time intervals and send it to their trading partner. So yeah, absolutely. And we're able to basically allow other retailers to gain that competitive advantage. So our supplier portal is quite similar to what you would see at Amazon Central portal, for example. It has the capabilities for supplier to log in, print labels, print packing slips, get the purchase orders, send the advance ship notice, and also on the retailer side, it allows them to validate the data is correct. We don't only validate the syntax of the document, but we can also validate the content of the document being transmitted.
Okay, so what about the physical side of retail? I mean, a lot of what we're talking about on Amazon, of course, it's pure e-commerce. That might be changing a little bit now with them, trying to open up some stores, but that's basically what they are. Now, what about, do you work with omni-channel retailers in providing any of these services?
That is a great question, and I think that really, highlights the overall value proposition of HighJump as an ecosystem. So, because we have a variety of solutions, across the supply chain industry, we are working with retailers, and we have many really successful case studies in that area to enable those retailers for in-store fulfillment. So through good warehouse management, working on distribution center with 3PL, retailers can achieve efficiency in orders that are being shipped to store, based on forecast and, orders that will have maybe a lead time of a few months when you're going back to school and your standard stocking or holiday, right? You send a few purchase orders in advance. These are, been mastered over the years, and, it varies. Efficiency varies, obviously, from one retailer to another, but, there are, 1 to 3s for that part. The now economy and omni-channel retailing have introduced, new things to retailers that are not used to, which is the store pickup. Store pickup is becoming popular today, which is, I would call it similar to same-day shipping. If I have a store, 2 or 3 miles away, and I don't want to wait for a day or two, but I see, real-time inventory on your website, and you give me the ability for store pickup, then I might be able to place the order with you over someone who would send it to me a day later or 2 days later. So,
Right.
That store pickup ability gives brick-and-mortar retailers competitive advantage by being there locally and give them the ability for same-day delivery. There are some efforts also, if in the event, consumers are too busy, they just don't want to drive, for 2 or 3 miles, then, Uber, as you know, are working on a few things like that. There are some, other delivery mechanisms, maybe a few years from now, something which is really becoming real, being tested today, it would be drone delivery. But the biggest challenge today is that stores are not prepared for fulfillment. Stores are prepared for receiving products and replenishing products on the shelf. They're not prepared for scanning products, packaging products,
Right.
matching orders with products, individual orders, and having, an area, staging area or a pickup area where you can have that efficiency. And that's where we, add value as well. One of a flavor of our product for warehouse management is for in-store fulfillment, and we're able to do just that to help stores be prepared for picking and packing efficiently and packaging, and also labeling the products through scan and back to pack technology, voice command or voice picking, a variety of technology that we can do that. We know some retailers, are exploring, if not, trying to implement now the ability to actually ship products from the retail locations. Once you master, we call it the DOM technology, distributed order management, brick-and-mortar retailers will be able to match orders to stores, not to e-commerce shipping locations or fulfillment centers.
Right.
So if I'm ordering from Washington, D.C., and instead of shipping me a product from Texas through a good distributed order management system, it can tell me that, hey, you can ship that product actually or deliver it from D.C., same day, or, the following day at lower shipping cost than ground if you ship it from Texas, without impacting the inventory and forecast levels for walk-in customers in that store. So forecasting is transforming to accommodate e-commerce customers, matching them with distributed order management. But what we're able to do is empower these stores to be able to either fulfill these orders from store pickup or be able to ship products. And soon you will find, many retailers trying to actually utilize store closures. So if they close at 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock, I want you to imagine that because it's going to be real. That's the vision, and there's work being done on that when we're talking about M2M and robotic technology, is that in off hours, you can have, robots that would actually do that actual picking or even put it in a staging area. So in the morning when your staff comes in, you are able to fulfill these orders fast. And that's really driven by accelerated delivery and the now economy. And the faster you can get that product to the consumer, the more successful you are going to be as a retailer.
Right. So, I agree. The proximity to the customer is very valuable and very important. And, initially, I think people thought that e-commerce is going to handle everything. But now people understand that customers actually prefer to work with companies that are closer or have some kind of a presence closer to them. So the role of the local retail store, as you mentioned, is changing. It's not just retail anymore. It's distribution, it's fulfillment, and everything is going to be. So it's going to be interesting to see how things work out in the next 5, 10 years. What about POS systems?
Absolutely.
Do you work with different types of POS systems, like a mobile, handheld units?
We do have that on the e-commerce component that I mentioned, but it's not the traditional POS system in a retail store. Like I said, it's portable through mobile technology. So our Brewer Edge, for example, that allows if you go to a trade show and you want to take orders through our external e-commerce platform, you are able to take orders, swipe credit cards, and we will bring that through our commerce network into your ERP system, based on these time intervals as well. But in terms of your traditional POS transaction at a retail brick-and-mortar retail store, that's not an area that we play in. However, with our retailers using our portals, we are able to pull take that data and send it to the suppliers for demand forecasting and for order replenishment. So that's the POS data that, I'm sure you're familiar with from your days at EDI.
Right. Okay, great. So last question I have is, I mean, there's definitely a lot to talk about. The range of services is pretty impressive and long. So last question I have is that where do you personally see retail going in the next 2 to 3 years? What are the major changes that retailers actually are going to have to deal with?
Well, I think we'll continue to see this accelerated delivery. If we're talking about 10 years vision from now, I think we'll have a category of products that will be able to take advantage of 3D printing. And I know that's far-fetched, but if we're talking about really long-term vision, 3D printing, I see that as being able to obtain a license to print a specific product. So it's not going to apply, obviously, to all the products, but maybe we're talking about 10-year span. I see expedited delivery, not actually, whatever started with T-Pod, right? If you're familiar with that, now, it's being discussed to either have your own delivery fleets or, leveraging other transportation companies like Uber. That will definitely occur. I would also, I personally observe voice interaction with artificial intelligence, AI, and how that will transform, in combination with BI as well. So that would require that your technology, your platforms are voice ready, and will require that you are able to feed these, machines reaching out to obtain information with the right information, the M2M technology. To give you an example, you would just be, driving in your car, and now that Apple opened Siri to other apps, Siri will probably be able to do shopping comparison. And you might even ask Siri if you can afford that or not, and if Siri has access to your, financials. If it's a big item, Siri might be able to actually obtain loans for you based on your credit application. So I know we're talking a few years, but these are real.
It is.
Things that are happening today. And we see, Intuit working on a technology, QB. And obviously, Alexa for Amazon. So M2M and BI combined with artificial intelligence is going to be driving a lot of consumer behaviors and decisions. So it will more than just shopping. It will be able to provide decisions. What you do in your research before you buy a product, that can happen in a matter of seconds. and providing you with information. That would require a different level of readiness. We're keeping an eye on it. I'm actually going to be speaking in an event probably 6 weeks from now about how that will well, we need to be ready for that transformation that is happening today.
Right.
Current trends like in-store fulfillment and is going to continue and expand as well. In fact, I would love to have a different session where we can actually focus on that area, because the depth of that area and the complexity that we simplify through our technology is probably worth another meeting.
Sure.
But a lot of exciting things are happening, and they're driven by you and me, and it's just
and
the age that we live in.
The consumers
Yeah.
are also driving a lot of these things. So, okay, so one more question in relation to that. What do you think is going to happen to retail sales associates in stores? Is there a future for them, or is everything's going to be just automated? You go into a local store and you talk to a machine and...
Well, you will have, call centers available in certain areas. You'll have the picking, maybe the role will change itself from being at a POS location to be actually behind the counter working and delivering, or, picking products instead of replenishing products on the shelf. So the role of a retail associate will transform. I wouldn't say that this will happen across the board. Like I said, there are certain products, maybe groceries, maybe, certain places. I would say in apparel, you will still have that, person that will help in fitting you and having a dialogue where needed. But I think that their roles will definitely change. It will just go beyond, traditional, POS, managing POS transactions, or basic product replenishment,
or just order taking. If you're I completely agree. It is going to be product dependent. So let's say if you're buying furniture, the role of a human being, or you're remodeling your house, is a lot more profound than if you're just going to pick up something that it's just somebody's behind a cash register and ringing the order.
Absolutely.
Right.
What will also transform, Darius, is the demand forecasting and replenishment. So, if we go back to, M2M technologies where, we started to see some fridges already that are able, they have, some intelligence where they can at least tell you what products are expiring in your fridge, if they have the right, barcodes that carry this information, what you need to replenish, and they'll be able to place orders in advance. So you don't have to worry about that part, or at least give you, recommendation. You connect these dots with maybe, voice technology with Siri. Siri might be, I'm talking here vision that, probably when you and I connect again in the next few years, we will see the seeds for that. But, Siri can connect your home and can basically tell you what your home needs. And you're basically saying, well, go ahead and order it. And you're done. You don't have to Google things anymore or research things, because you're getting accurate information. Really exciting things happening. I think that the next few years are just so exciting on what we'll be able to do.
Interesting. Well, thank you so much. This is very fascinating. We'll definitely follow up and see if we can get more information on the other products. I really appreciate it, Haitham. It's a great conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Likewise. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.